All right, everybody. Welcome to the Flock is Hotcast. Today we have a special little episode for everybody. We are going to be talking specifically about JTT, the number one player in the 2021 class. Where is he going to be going? What's he going to be doing for school? We don't really have an exact date yet for his commitment, but Huffman said it will be before the 4th of July. So we're looking at a timeline from now, basically to next Sunday. Most people think it could be around like Wednesday midweek, but there's no specific timeline. There's hasn't really been anything certain with JTT's recruitment. So to start us off, Duran is the most unbiased of all four of us since he has Florida State in him. So we want to hear Duran, we want to hear everything you got, everything you think, every conspiracy theory about his recruitment that you may believe that every fan base in his recruitment has started. Who do you think JTT is going to be playing for this season and for the next 3 to 4 years of his collegiate career?
That's crazy because when we say this season, it's like 8 weeks away for them reporting.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. This recruitment has gone to the last 8 weeks, if we really think about it. I'm about 60-40 that he's going to be a Duck. I just think that, the ties to the Pacific Northwest, it's still far. It's close enough home, but far enough away. Definitely the family environment that MC's been able to bring to it. I think that plays a major role. But you can never count out everywhere else because of the family ties. He's from Seattle. He's from the Seattle area. So, obviously, people don't want to hear me talk about UW. I'm gonna talk about them anyway because they're in this top 4. So you have to like make them a legitimate contender. He has those ties there. He's from there. His trainer lives there. So people that he really trusts from a 24/7 basis lives there. So you can always have to put them in contention. He also has ties to Southern California. Has family there. If I'm not mistaken, that's where he lived before he moved to the Pacific Northwest. I'm sure, Twitter will let me know if I'm wrong on that. So you have to keep them in consideration. And then obviously Ohio State, not only by, obviously what they've done with defensive ends and the defensive line from, a draft status and getting people prepared for the next level, but they do have, history of bringing in people as family. We know, Ezekiel Elliott's dad moved out to Columbus with him, to make sure that, everything was cool and to keep kind of a family environment around him while he was in Columbus. So we know they are open to, family coming out and being in Columbus with the student athletes as they go through their journey there in Columbus. So everybody has a chance. Everybody has a shot. I do think Oregon kind of, is the front runner. It's hard to, once MC kind of put his hands on you, it's kind of hard, for that grasp to kind of be let go. And I think even though I don't think Bama was in it per se, it's kind of, telltale to say, to give up that free visit, that free official, in order to go ahead and make it happen. Because no lie, if I'm a recruit, I'm taking all 5. If I know where I'm going, I'm taking all 5 of them free things. So it's kind of telltale for him to do that.
You turned down a meeting with saving, bro.
That's what I'm saying. A free visit. I'm taking free visits all day.
So
free
all
food.
Good points. All very good points.
So,
and the Twitter famous Duck fan, Mr. Bistro himself. We want to hear what he has to say. The world's most famous Duck fan, arguably. Where do you think JTT is going, man? Because I know you and I have both in our group chat. You and I have both said he's going to Washington, he's going to Ohio State, he's going to Oregon. The two of us have said he's going between 3 different schools, countless times. Which I mean, with this kid's recruitment, no one knows where he's going. So where do you think he ends up?
Honestly, in my soul, the writing on the wall is pointing to JTT joining the flock and running the college football world for the next 3 to 4 years with Mario Cristobal and staff. I mean, I'm finna just diverge into my thought process, man.
Go ahead. We want to hear everything.
So JTT didn't go to Ohio State spring game or UW spring game. He came to an open public practice at Oregon. Couldn't talk to the coaches. He might have talked to some players went to the cave line outside of the facilities. You never know. But he couldn't make it a visit to where he could communicate with the staff, but he came to check out what they had going on. I mean, he did go, check out UW's practice. He did that with, his training facility and a couple other guys that they got, training under them as well. So that, kind of doesn't tip the hand too much. But I mean, you went out your way to come to Oregon when they had spring games and we just had an open practice. So that's one thing.
Real quick.
What's up?
Since it wasn't official, I don't know his financial background, so I don't put much into the Ohio State visit just because that would have been coming out of his pocket.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
now UW says a little more to me than the Ohio State would because it's coming out of pocket.
Oh, for sure. I mean, because official visits, that's all the schools take care of it.
Right.
You gotta fork them dollars. But I mean, the dude waited, took his 4 official visits. He X'd out the last one. He said he seen what he needed to see. He kind of felt like he already knew where he wanted to go a long time ago. He just needed to take the trips to confirm where he wanted to go. It's just the irony of it is you go to UW for a couple of days, then you go home. Then you turn around and go to USC, come back home for a couple of days. Then you go to Ohio State. You leave Ohio State and go straight to Eugene. You didn't go home. You had a layover in Denver, but you went straight to Eugene from Ohio State. You didn't give yourself a day or two to recuperate, change your clothes out your luggage. Maybe you need to do some laundry. Did you wash your clothes at Mario Cristobal house? I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's
legal. Let's not put that out there. I don't know if that's legal.
Actually did it. I'm just saying, like, the thought process is like, fam, like, you didn't space it out like you spaced out the other ones. So I'm like, something is that part right there. I'm like, fam, that right there is like, okay, I see that. On top of that, Oregon did just hire a new strength and conditioning coach, assistant, and he's from the Pacific Northwest and is from that facility as well. So it's a lot of things like that kind of helps because that person, from what I understand, has a little bit of a connection to said player. It's not so much more in the recruiting aspect. It's more so in this person knows how to handle this person. And he might be able to get, a little bit more out of him than, Coach Phil. But I mean, of course, Coach Phil going to be the end all be all when it comes to strength conditioning because it's Coach Phil. I mean, the dude is his own entity.
He's a man.
He's a man. He's not 40. But I mean, you got to look at the visit at Oregon, how everything went. I mean, JTT hasn't dropped any pictures from photo shoots. He hasn't dropped any pictures with the coaches. The only pictures that you've seen of JTT was him at USC with DJU's brother. And then you saw him at Oregon with I'm not going to say the last name because I want to say it because it's dope, but I'm not going to say it. But Kingsley, them the only 2 pictures you saw posted, and those are posted by the other player's family member. It wasn't anybody related to JTT. And it tells you under the radar. Now think about this. The last 2 big recruits that Mario's brought in that were under the radar as far as when their commitments were going to drop and who they were going to commit to, Kayvon Thibodeau, Justin Flo. Both of them, you heard they were leaning to other schools. They're going to go there. They're going to go there. Then all of a sudden, boom. And it's like, okay, Mario, when Mario puts his hand on recruit, Mario doesn't let very much information get out unless he wants it to get out. That's period, point blank.
I respect that too.
Like when Mario hones in on a recruit, he hones in and he recruits them personally. My man Wayne from Tacoma, the 2023, he said Mario's authenticity was better than the coaches at Bama and Clemson. Think about that. Who's the coaches at Bama and Clemson winning national championships? Dabo and Saban. You're telling me that Mario's authenticity is better than those coaches on those staffs? That's telling you how he is as a person. And then he gets the parents. He recruits the parents. He talks to the parents. He even told us himself he will fly out and meet a parent the same day he meet a recruit. He's been to the Bahamas after meeting the kid on the West Coast. Like, he's doing what he's got to do to make sure that you understand this is not just about the sport. This is about me caring about you and your family. And we're going to bring everybody in and we're going to make sure that everybody has the support, whether it be you need, the mom and dad needs help getting to the USC game. Maybe they ride with some other parents or something like that. Like, it's not just, we want you, come here, we see you out there. No. Like, fam, I even got to see it after the Wazoo game. Like, I don't even fam, I got to walk into the facility after they beat Wazoo on the last second field goal and watch all of these players interact with their families and the families interact with coaches and each other. And when I say it was just a hell of a time, fam, like, I didn't take pictures with anybody. I was just enjoying the moment, standing next to Panay, looking at Herbert and Patrick talking to their parents. Like Travis died. Like when Travis died, kept looking at each other. I know you from somewhere. Like we were just gonna just stare each other down. Like we was gonna have a conversation or something. Like it's just when you see, like it's just a genuine vibe. Like we're Hudson. He was there. The younger brother was there with the older brother, just walking around the facility. After the game, I was like, bro, this is dope. Like it's just an environment that everybody just wanted to be in. So Mario's doing his thing, man. And I think that it's going to work out for the third year in a row. Why not three-peat, shock the world, make the world hate the Ducks some more? And then we're going to make them hate us even more when we win a national championship. Then they can't talk about us. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, what's worse that can happen? He goes to Ohio State because I don't know. Unless he pulls a Savell Smalls and goes UW, I don't see him being in the picture at all. At all. So it's either going to be Ducks or Bucks, and he will be in the horseshoe week 2. That's a 98% guarantee that I've seen. So will he be rocking green and yellow, or will he be in that scarlet and gray? I'm hoping it's green and yellow, so we can beat the scarlet and gray and say, hey, it's our time now. That's all I'm saying. Let's go Ducks.
I like it a lot. All right. Ashley, you're down there just shaking, just ready to talk. I see you doing all that.
I'm mentioning. It's so
man, just let it out, bro. Let it out.
I had the whole notes on bullet points of what I was gonna say, but Duran and Brenton covered it all. But I'm surprised you guys didn't mention the basketball scholarship. We all know he plays basketball.
Yeah.
But the way I saw the recruiting, it was 2 different approach by 2 different staffs. Ryan Day, we all know he's more aggressive. So, with the media going to the airport, I mean, some people thought it was creepy. Some people thought it was nice and risky. But, Oregon, again, like you mentioned, Branson, it was low key, very low key. And which I think it benefits Oregon the most because his whole recruiting trail has been consistent. It's been only talking to one reporter, been low key, not posting pictures like you mentioned, Branson. And so I think Oregon had the edge over that. And, like we mentioned, Polynesian and all his parents and everybody's been saying, they want authenticity. They want it to feel like a home vibe. And, then football will take care of itself. And Oregon, you already know the score on the jersey. They pay homage to our Polynesian kids. But now in today's game, you see everybody's trying to tap into that pipeline. Everybody want a piece of Polynesian kids. Alabama's trying. You got Clemson with the quarterback. You got everybody trying to tap into that. So maybe that's why you saw Ohio State being a little bit, I'm trying to be careful with my word, but desperate. Definitely feel like they're trying to pull them in. But Oregon, it just felt like a straight vibe. I mean, from the outside looking in, got him to visit. You got, what's his name, Panay Sewell, reposting the picture that he took with Kingsley saying, double trouble, or if 2 5-stars going head to head, it would be a nice iron sharpens iron every single day I practice. But we'll still see. Right now it's still, for me, it's a 60-40% Oregon lean because of how it went with Oregon trip, the repost, the him canceling Alabama, the basketball scholarship, the Polynesian pipeline, everything. It just makes more sense on paper to go with Oregon. But on the flip side, playing devil's advocate, you got, Ohio State, their DEU, defensive NU. You got Joey Bosa. You got last year #1 pick. I mean, so they're definitely known for the D line and putting people in the NFL. But Oregon, I feel like they're building something special, and I'm pretty sure that he sees that with Mario.
Can I ask y'all a question? Because y'all know a little bit more about this than I do. How much does the NIL weigh into his decision? And because this is something new that I've been hearing about, like a wrinkle in recruiting, is people putting on their NIL, kind of their pitch on how they want to help you brand it, with recruiting. Is that I know family's definitely like #1, but is the NIL and the way they're going to brand, has that been something that, do we know if that's been important to him within his recruiting? Because I heard that they've been doing like pitches like that now. Like that's something new.
Go ahead, Ax.
I don't recall personally seeing anything about NIL. The only thing I recall seeing is just, the authenticity, making it feel like a home vibe and all that. So I'm not too sure about that. But I mean, if it is, it would work in Oregon's favor,
Yeah, Nike,
Nike and all that. So
I'm agreeing. I just didn't know if that plays a role in it, because that could put USC into the picture a little bit heavier than maybe in Ohio State or UW than we thought about, because of where they're located and their abilities to brand and market with their location.
I definitely.
But I still will give Oregon the lean.
But I mean, like we said last time too, with NIL, winning takes care of all that. You can be like Texas, a blue blood, but if you're not winning, NIL doesn't mean much, I should say.
So think about it in this case in point. Oregon's had 2 5-star D linemen go pro? DeForest Buckner and Haloti Ngata.
It was beautiful to see both of them, Polynesian be there with them and have success in the NFL too.
You had Haloti, DeForest, first team all pro D lineman. Eric Armstead went to the Super Bowl, won a top D lineman in the NFL. They were all there in a family matter. They weren't there making pictures. He said he had the opportunity to talk to him. I mean, at the end of the day, when you think about it, Oregon has Nike, yes. Oregon also has a history of Polynesian athletes leading the way as far as football. Marcus Mariota, first Heisman Trophy winner. Vinay Sue, your first Outland Trophy winner. Your first Outland Trophy, Polynesian Outland Trophy winner. Haloti.
Part of their identity too, like USC has with that too. So yeah.
But see,
Masoli, my dude, that was my guy. I ain't gonna lie, Jeremy Masoli, my dude.
Holy moly, Masoli.
That was my dude.
Even USC, you see USC trying to capitalize on that Boulevard stuff, bro. Fam, like I get what they're trying to do, but you USC, fam, you gotta go harder than that Boulevard stuff, fam. Like I don't buy it. I'm being honest. Like I'm not hating on them. It's just I don't feel it, bro. That hat they put out, that hat was just thrown out there, fam. Like BLVD, what? Bro, you better off to say USC Trojans a fight on a hat truck Palomalu show. Where Ray Monaluga, fam? Like what is this Boulevard flashy cars and movies? We talking about tennis shoes now, fam? Like they got to talk about their favorite pair of tennis shoes. Oregon, we talking about life in football, in family, and brothers. Shoes. Louis.
Depending on what you're looking for. That's why I'm asking what's like, where does the branding fit in his thing? I don't think it's high. I think it's maybe 3. But if you had to put it down, but that's why I was asking about NIL. I see Axe got his hand up.
I said JTT. Jared, you've been on the JTT brand since day one.
Yes.
What's up? Talk to me. What's up?
Yes, let's get it out, bro.
So before I dive in too much, because I do have a lot to say, I just want to reassure everybody, there are currently 6 crystal balls for JTT, all 6 Ohio State. 2 of them were made in 2021 in January. Greg Biggins, Huffman, Wiltfong, those are the big 3, especially Huffman, because Huffman has been the guy for JTT information. Thanks. All made predictions over a year ago. Biggins' prediction was June 10th, 2020. Brandon Huffman's was May 19th, 2020. Steve Wiltfong's was also May 19th, 2020. And Brandon Huffman, who is the top guy for JTT's recruitment, only had a level 1 confidence. And that is not going to change. None of those 3 guys are going to change their crystal balls, because it's very, very obvious that JTT and his family are very, very adamant on this being very close. So chances are we're not even going to know when he's going to commit. He could commit right now and we wouldn't even know it because we're not on our phones. So
hey, bro, I would like to get my phone back. Oh, all right.
Yeah, when I picked up my phone, because I was just trying to get all my thoughts together, I was just thinking, man, I should check Twitter, and he could already be committed to Oregon. Okay, so let's dive into some conspiracy stuff. Okay, let's go full UW fan with the conspiracies. Okay.
Ooh.
According to some sources on Scoop Duck, I didn't look at this myself. The only coaches that JTT follows on Twitter are Oregon coaches. And he follows Cristobal's wife. That's just something to throw out there. Typically when a kid commits to a school, he only follows that school's coaches. I don't know if he ever followed Ohio State's coaches or not. That's just something to throw out there. That's weak sauce, but it's something to throw out there. Somebody will think it's like a major breaking news, whatever. JTT also had a commitment thing show up on Scoop Duck a few months back, but this was a mistake or whatever. They could have just made this in advance. I'm sure they made this stuff in advance for many different kids, but this could have just been a mistake. So a lot of people put effort into that because around April is when J Hop was saying there's a very strong possibility that JTT could be a Duck. And then there was rumors that he was going to commit that week. Didn't commit that week. He got pandered by pretty much all the national guys were calling him out on it. The Washington fan base was calling him out on it because what the hell else they got to do? They're going to flip out about some 2-star player. But anyway, yeah, that's the J-Hop being wrong is more breaking to Washington fans than them actually getting a recruit. So
and this guy,
I was right about Kayvon Thibodeau. I was beating the Kayvon Thibodeau drum for months before he got committed. I was beating the Justin Flo drum. I was saying he was going to commit for months. I beat the Corey Foreman drum. We're not going to talk about that. The JTT drum, I've gone back and forth on, but I have definitely been like locked into his recruitment for a while. The thing that steps out about me is with what happened in April on Scoop Duck and what's happening now is that in one of his interviews, I couldn't find the actual interview. I'm pretty sure it was a 24/7 interview that Huffman did. It was probably about him canceling his visit to Alabama, actually. He said, I've known where I've wanted to go for a while. That's a big piece of information. So there's two ways you could look at that. He's known that he's wanted to go to Ohio State for over a year with all these crystal balls that have been made. Not a single one, only one of them is over a 6-level confidence. Even the Ohio State insider only had a 5-level confidence. Or he was going to commit to Oregon. Something came up. He didn't do it. There was somebody Ohio State possibly convinced him to just, not do it. Who knows? But I think that's very, very telling that he's known where he's wanted to go for a while. So he canceled the Alabama visit. That's proof that Alabama wanted nothing to do, or he just wasn't that interested in Alabama. He saw what he needed to see. He knew Bama wasn't going to offer it. They're gone. USC. I have never once believed that USC actually had a chance at landing him. I still don't believe it. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I know it's USC, but there's a lot of talk that Corey Foreman and JTT didn't really have much interest in playing with each other. I just didn't see it happening. They, a lot of these kids, they're like, yeah, I could totally see him playing with that guy. They never really did that. And I just don't see him going to USC. I think they have the least chance out of all 4 schools, even though 24/7 said that USC has a chance. I think they just said that because he took his official visit and he canceled the one to Bama. Washington kind of concerns me a little tiny bit, but I just don't think Jimmy Lake's that good of a recruiter. I just don't think they're very good at what they do. Look at Sam Heward. He went there because his dad played there. I mean, that's why he went there. He's a legacy kid. Of course he's going to go there. Some kids don't do that. There was even rumors that he was going to flip. Didn't happen. But and look at there's top guys in the state of Washington for this recruiting class, and it doesn't even look like they're going to land those guys right now. And that's not good. Like, you can be like, well, I mean, it's only June. Okay, yeah, it's only June. Man. It's kids who live in Washington. You're the biggest school in Washington. You should already be in on these kids, So I don't think Washington
ain't high on Jimmy. So
yeah, I just don't think Washington. I don't think Washington has a chance.
Bro, they are like, we asked for this. We gotta see what he's worth, and then we gonna say screw him. Like, they're like, fam, I can't say nothing right now because I gotta see. So this is another thing.
Wait, hold on, let me finish.
Oh, go ahead. You even took a sip of the Fiji water. He finna go feed.
So I don't believe Washington's. I don't think they're in it as much as their boards believe that they are. So then you get to Ohio State and Oregon. I thought for a long time Oregon was going to get him. Thought for a long time Ohio State was going to get him. I've literally gone to sleep one night thinking it's Oregon, woke up the next day and it's going to be Ohio State. Later that day, I could see it be Oregon, flip flop. when it comes to the visits, I have to agree. I think it was Axel that said it. I think Ohio State came off very, very desperate. I think they came off very, very desperate, and they didn't need to do that at all. What did they do? They wore Polynesian shirts for one kid. They had a police escort for one kid.
Jerseys.
Now, not only is this like just a bad look to him, because I don't think that's what JTT wanted. I think that's just going to be a bad look for the future of your recruiting, because it's like these other kids aren't going to get police escorts. You're not going to wear like family T-shirts for the next 3-star kid that visits. Like, you're not going to do that. I just think it's too much. I think they did too much, and I've been saying this for weeks now. When JTT visited Oregon, he said it felt authentic. That's why I think he's going to pick Oregon, because it was authentic. It's closer to home. It's very, very apparent that family matters to him. And, maybe deep in his heart, he wants to go to Ohio State more than Oregon, but his family was willing to compromise with him, at least leaving home, being on the West Coast. Because I think deep down, I think his parents do, or at least I have read that his mom wants him to go to Washington, which, that's fair because, it's family oriented. But I feel like the compromise is going to be Oregon. And, part of me does kind of feel like he does want to go to Ohio State more than Oregon. But I think the distance is going to be like the deciding factor in it. I think he would rather stay on the West Coast, where he's not that far away from home, than go to Ohio State, where he is far away from home. And, there's like conspiracies that with Ohio State, Jack Sawyer changed his number from 33 to his high school number, and that's JTT's number. So everybody's like, oh my God, he's going to pick Ohio State. And how Huffman posted something on the Bucknuts board, and a whole bunch of people were saying, oh, well, it's guaranteed he's going to Ohio State now. He just like posted a gif of a beer on a Friday evening. Just like, it was a long week. There was a lot going on. He visits Ohio State, visits Oregon, tells Bama to eat the dust. I mean, there's a lot going on. I think people are reading too much into that. But the authenticity of the Oregon visit is what I think is going to be the deciding factor. Because as far as I know, Ohio State didn't get any of their former alumni to visit. As far as I know, like, they could have brought in Chase Young, they could have brought in the Bosa's, they could have brought in any of their defensive alumni, which there are plenty of, to be fair, but they didn't do that. Oregon,
we don't know yet, though, right?
Yeah, we don't really know. As far as I know, they didn't do that. As far as I know, so I could be wrong.
I won't say Ohio State was desperate. I say they were being rambunctious.
Same thing. I feel like they were desperate and I feel like desperate falls under being rambunctious. Like, I just think they did too much, stupid. And it's just goofy. I
feel like the message that they were trying to give is just like, you're our number one guy. For many reasons. For your talent and for the pipeline. But it depends how it came off to JTT's family and him. Part of me is saying there's no way you take that big of a risk in recruiting closing. Especially his final official visit, without checking in with someone, if like how that's gonna rub off on him. But if that was like the random risk that they took like that and it didn't rub off on them, then I guess good for Oregon.
And Oregon, I think no matter what, he was going to cancel that Bama visit. I think he was going to cancel the Bama visit no matter what. I think if he visited Oregon and then Ohio State, Bama visit still gets canceled. I think, the fact that it got canceled is telling to me that he's picking between Oregon and Ohio State. It doesn't tell me anything that he canceled it after Oregon.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I didn't really read it into it that much because he just visited Ohio State, dude. Like, if he visited Ohio State 2 weeks ago and then visited Oregon and then canceled the Bama visit, it's like, okay, well, that's one thing. But because I don't really read much into it as him like canceling it after the Oregon visit.
What I got out of that is just distance is a thing.
Yeah,
Bama is.
I think distance is going to be a huge factor, and I think he's going to be a Duck. I think he's going to be a Duck, and I think this defense is going to be dirty with him.
One thing also I saw going on Twitter is like, when he did go to the Oregon practice, how Oregon fans behave themselves, leaving them alone, respecting privacy and all that. So I'm pretty like all pluses for Oregon.
We didn't do a JTT tailgate. and we didn't have a JT tree and pop some champagne. Woo! Hometown hero.
That's right. No,
That's too much pressure. That's too much pressure on a kid. Like, I mean,
pressure.
You look like a creep.
That's not even pressure, bro. That's just them. I mean, when you think about it, fam, UW had the opportunity to take the Pac-12 over with Chris Peterson.
Yep.
In 3 years, they got 2 conference championships, no New Year's 6-day bowl wins, and they smack back dab in the middle of the pack again because Mario came in and whooped that shit. Like, he's changed recruiting, he's changed the style of play.
But if you look at UW too, UW is desperate because they used to be a winner. Like even before Peterson, if you really think about the 90s and the early 2000s, like Tuiasosopo, I think Marquise Tuiasosopo was the Napoleon Kaufman way back to like the early 90s at running back and things like that. So they've always had like they always kind of dominated the Pacific Northwest, if we really be honest.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, they lose and they grip, they lose and that, and Jimmy Lake is like not it. So they desperate to get that back. They got this Sam Hewitt's son, I think, or whatever, or that's his name. I think Brock Hewitt's son, Sam. So and now to try to get the next one, like they got the offensive hometown hero. Now they're trying to get the defensive type of deal because that'll save Jimmy Lake's job too. So he's trying to pull out all the stops.
Man, they sipped hard as hell for the hometown hero last year, Savelle. They sipped the hell out that kid, man. Bro, they sipped him more than they sipped JTT. Oh, everything I love. They sipped the life out of Savelle. They sipped his 5th star away. He went from a 5-star to a 4-star because they sipped that shit away. They sipped the fuck out that star. I don't care who seen. They sipped the fuck out that star.
Baby, calm down.
No, because
Oregon. It wasn't your
But
team.
you see, the thing is, Savelle liked it. That's what Savelle wanted. He wanted to be recruited like that.
bingo.
JTT does not want to be recruited like that.
So you bring cameras to the airport. You bring escort to the airport. You bring all this publicity to the airport. And the whole time you see JTT, like, he dapped up the entire coaching staff and everything. And in between his visit to Oregon and Ohio State, bro, you see the Future Stars of Tomorrow post they dropped, right? The story they did on JTT last week. That was the first time you really heard him sit down and talk about himself. Mm-hmm. Him, his dad, they interviewed his mom. Like, they didn't really, like, it wasn't. Now, I was kind of upset that homeboy called Oregon Oklahoma. Where the hell Oklahoma come from? They was not in this picture. That's Bomasuna over there. This is the Oregon situation. But, like, you didn't get, like, I love the attention from him. He was, just very relaxed, humble, articulate young man. Like, he was just, speaking what he was asked, and that was it. And that's all you can ask for.
I did think it was very interesting that, Panay Sewell retweeted the picture and, that, because it's just like, to get a guy like Panay to comment on that, I mean, there has to be something behind it, or at least good luck or something. I don't know. There's something behind it, though.
Well, I mean, you also got to think about it, because Panay was working out with Kingsley last year. So Kingsley's dad did the post, then Kingsley tweeted the tweet, then Panay got the tweet, and it's like, it was a perfect chain of events. That's all they needed was a perfect chain.
That's gonna be. I mean, Kingsley is athletic. I mean, and him jumping out of the pool at his size, going against. I mean, potentially going against JTT every single day is gonna be like a KT against Panay 2.0 to me. But
I sent y'all a screenshot from my phone.
I saw it. I
think that's a dead giveaway, fam. Because if you scroll, like, I went to the profile and scrolled, it's only 125 top.
Y'all gonna start talking about the Kawhi Leonard of college football recruiting, because it reminds me of the Kawhi Leonard free agency.
Yeah,
it was very secretive. It was a lot of things being talked about, but his camp was very tight knit and very closed.
But we already knew he wanted to go back to LA, and
we thought people was thinking the Lakers, and then it was talks like the day before they were saying he was staying in Toronto.
But why would Kawhi go join LeBron? Why does Kawhi need LeBron? Kawhi beat LeBron.
But this is this is hindsight.
Let's stay on track with JT2.
I'm just saying it's just cool, because I think what happened, to y'all's point, I promise I'll bring it around. Y'all's point of, they said a lot of what happened with Kawhi's recruitment was the Lakers let too much out the bag with Magic Johnson, and he didn't like it. And the Clippers kept, and Jerry West, they respected his wishes and kept it close knit. To the point of how the same way with JTT is being recruited, everything is being close knit. He's wanted the respectful wishes of his family. There's been a lot of, we've talked about what UW was doing in his recruitment. We talked about how we felt about how Ohio State has done with his recruitment, and the only team and the only school, I should say, that has really seemed to respect the wishes has been Oregon. When we look at it, so that's my parallel. I told you, I promised I was going to bring it around
from top to the fans.
So it's crazy how it's a lot of parallels with how that is, how that is definitely. That's why I call him the Kawhi Leonard of college football right now.
And for those of you who are wondering what Brenson's talking about, one of the 125 people that JTT follows on Twitter is Kayvon Thibodeau. So that does kind of speak volumes. Now, we also don't know how many of those followers are Ohio State people, but 3 of them are Oregon people. 2 of them are massive Oregon, pillars of the Oregon football team, the head coach and the star player. So that is very, very, and we know that Kayvon Thibodeau was going to be like the primary guy for JTT's recruitment in terms of players. So that is very, very, that does speak volumes. So yeah, I mean, hey, I think we hit everything we were talking about with JTT. We all believe he's going to be a Duck. We don't, maybe not all of us believe 100%, that's 64. I think we're all at about 60-40. I think I'm more like, I'm about 60-40. I don't want to say anything more than 60. I was about to say 70-30, but I was like, bro, I just don't know. I'll tell you, when he canceled the Alabama visit, I was 100% Oregon. But the closer we get to the 4th of July, the closer it gets. So yeah, we don't know when he's going to commit, but he will commit before the 4th of July, according to Huffman. And it's getting to the time where he has to hurry up and make a decision so he can even get to summer training and all that.
I wouldn't be shocked if both schools gave him the playbook so he could be up to date, so he could just fit in.
I thought you were about to say a McDonald's bag. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay. We now? No, just playing.
I'm just kidding.
And just for another, with the NLI coming into effect, I feel like Oregon definitely would pitch that at some point. I mean, that could be a huge thing too.
They pitched it. They were pitching it to other visitors.
Yeah.
Like the other kids in there interview said they pitched the NIL. Like, and Oregon's NIL is way better than what I've seen at other schools. So you're telling me
detailed, yeah.
You want to talk about branding? You want to talk about making money off your likeness? Oregon is probably the number one school.
Their detail is down to your strength and conditioning program, to how they're going to use you in the playbook, how they're going to showcase you, how they're going to help your brand. Like, how can you beat that? That's from top to bottom. We're going to help you get your diploma. We're going to help you get exposure. We're going to help you be able to showcase yourself and gain from this.
One thing I said on Twitter was just, I hear Mario's this great recruiter, but I feel like it's an insult. If it's just like telling someone they're a car salesman. No, he's just a genuine guy that just sells you it and sells you the dream. And, you see it for yourself with what he's doing with his the alumni, current player and future players, and recruits are seeing that. So that's why we're probably seeing this huge surge in, Oregon recruiting.
It's lovely, fam. It's a lovely site.
And before we get out of here, I just really want to commend JTT on how he's handled his recruitment, how he's put the power in his hands that these players have always had. So if there's young athletes out there, there's high school athletes coming up, if they not willing to ride with you, that this shows you no matter how high a school is, if they want you, they gonna wait on you. We literally 8 weeks from camp opening up, and they done rolled out the red carpet for this young man.
Don't be shocked if he just changes the landscape too.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. Great job, JTT,
make sure
and
that
the family.
Reporters are telling your story too, man.
Great job, JTT and the family. Nothing but respect for that.
That is very true, fam. Like, you didn't let anybody pressure you into making a decision. You used every ounce of time that you were allotted. I mean, that's all you can do, especially in a day and age where instant gratification is such a big thing. Whether it be the commitment or whether it be the publicity, like, dudes handled it with grace and humbleness, and his family too. I mean, the boards talk and people say they know stuff, but you can't really take everything you hear truthfully. But when you hear something that comes from Huffman or you see an interview that's involving JTT, like its originality and the authenticity is there as well. So, I mean, you really can't ask for much more from a young man, especially who's in a position like this. You know, like dude can
Every reason to be a jerk, right?
every.
We see a lot of them. We see a lot of them, and he fresh.
That's the same thing with KT. KT wasn't a jerk either, bro. Like, so it's like you see, you see the humbleness of some of these guys who are in a higher position. Is like, bro, this person can really be good, and it's not just it's just not just football. It's going beyond that, and that's what Mario's bringing into that as well. So,
well, it was definitely dope. Love to hear y'all takes. What's it called? Jared, send us home, man.
Yeah, wait. Everybody, thank you all for tuning into this very, very quick special episode. Just remember one thing. JTT is going to be a duck.
I knew it.
He's going to be a duck.
Yes.
He's going to be a duck, everybody.
Yes.
You heard it.
I missed that daggone hat.
First. You heard it here, everybody. He's going to be a duck. He's going to be a duck, everybody. Go Ducks. We'll get y'all with another episode soon. Next time.
it's a great week to be a duck, by the way.
It's
So,
going to be a great week. Y'all keep an eye out on Twitter Monday.
so hey, just enjoy it. One week. Number one player gonna be going somewhere. We Quack.
Shout out Devin Allen and Michael
Are you
Williams
gonna
too.
go 2-0?
Olympians,
Or-
Olympic Ducks. Shout out Michael Williams and Devin Allen.
Dallas Carter in the building, baby. Hey, Sco Ducks, peace out.
Go Ducks, everybody.
Go Ducks. I know Deron want to go. Oh.
I'll be respectful.
Man, we all, bro. Peace out. Man, that's hilarious.